Hey everyone, Miss GoElectric here, and today I'm at the Pollyant Trail here in Oxford, Michigan. And in front of me, you'll notice I have the Wing Freedom ST. If you live in a city and you're wanting to invest in an e-bike, then you're probably concerned about security. Well, this e-bike in front of me has some very unique security features that I haven't tested out yet in my e-bike reviews and really haven't seen at this price point. So we're gonna try those out. Plus, I'm gonna take it out on this paved trail as well as cruise through the city. So let's get to it. This bike was fairly well packaged, but there were a couple things that I noticed immediately after I unboxed it, and one was the derailleur guard was pushed so hard into the derailleur, I had to pry it out and get it straight. And also the computer screen here had some weird artifacting on it, as if there was some pressure on there. But I will say it's powered up fine and all that has gone away. These integrated lights are machined metal, so they're very high quality, but you do have to install them when you get this bike. And the bolts that go and secure them are underneath, which are hard to get at, especially on the rear one here. I wish they would just install them for you already, but I do understand as to why they don't. And one of the reasons is because you can get an optional throttle, which I have here. And in order to install the throttle and connect it to the cable that links through the headlamp, you would need to then take out the light and redo that whole process. As you look closer at these integrated lights, you'll notice that they were really built for this bike, and that ties in with the design really well. It feels very cohesive, and I like this slick black metal finish on it that makes it feel simple and modern. We also have an integrated battery in the frame here, which is definitely my preference over some that are mounted on the frame. At first glance, you might not even notice that this is an e-bike, and I really like that about it because it feels very stealthy. Even the computer here that's mounted on the stem and onto the handlebars is very integrated and cohesive. I think this bike is really stylish and a very tidy design. And you'll notice that the cables run all the way through the frame, which is something I prefer, but there is a part of the cables that run all the way up to the handlebars, and in some places they loop around and they're only attached through zip ties, and I think that kind of defies the aesthetic, and it's very glaring considering everything else on the bike looks so tidy. This Freedom ST has 3 different battery sizes, and they're about $100 difference in price each. This here is the mid-range battery. It's 10.4 amp hours, but you can opt for a smaller battery, 8.8 amp hours, or a larger one at 14 amp hours. I had asked Wing to send me the larger battery, but they were out of stock. Now that brings me to my next point, which is options. I also asked for a front and rear rack because you guys know I love versatility. They were also out of stock of those. Lastly, I asked for a specific color. They have a really beautiful silver finish and a grayish blue, but those were out of stock as well. But this came with fenders, and it also came with the throttle, which is usually optional, as I mentioned. And sometimes they do a bundle pack where some of these accessories are included. One of them that was supposed to be included but I didn't receive was the location sharing, which means that you would get an air tag for this bike and a bunch of decals to be able to let people know that this has an anti-theft system on it. Wing says that this bike is 39 pounds, so it should be pretty easy to mount onto my bike rack. And the cable brakes up here should be sufficient for stopping power. But at this price point, when there's no sale going on, other bikes in this competitive segment do offer hydraulics. Although these mechanical brakes are not branded, there are some branded components here, including the Shimano shifter and derailleur, as well as the Bafang motor. This is a 550 watt motor, so it should be powerful for a bike this lightweight. This saddle is a very narrow design and it has a little bit of cushion to it, but I have a feeling that I'm gonna want something that's a little wider and a little softer because this bike does not have a suspension. You'll notice it has an aluminum fork and no rear suspension. And really that's designed for efficiency. I'm the type of girl that likes a suspension, but we're gonna give it a shot. And also keep in mind, you can opt for a suspension seat post if you want more comfort. As I'm talking about comfort, you'll notice that the handlebar design is a little bit different here because it's a very cruiser style handlebar. It comes out and towards the rider. I'm gonna see how comfortable this is while I'm riding, but I have long legs, so typically this style doesn't fit me too well. But I will say that I appreciate they include these spacers on the stem here to bring the handlebars up a little bit higher. So if you are shorter, this might be a good adjustment for you to make to take those out so that it's a more comfortable riding position. Like I mentioned, fenders come with this bike, and I really appreciate the fact that they are a real full coverage in comparison to some of the other bikes that I have. Let's talk a little bit more about the security and safety features that this bike includes. One is small details like the hex bolts here on the seat post so that no one can just pull off the quick release and take your seat. There's also an electronic horn here to let people know that you're coming down the path. And also this has a very nice integrated anti-theft system. There is a key fob that I have here that has a lock, unlock button, and an alarm button. So when you lock the bike, if someone starts to tamper with it, it'll first put out an audible chime for a warning, and then it will get louder and louder if they continue to mess with your bike. And it can get really loud, up to 110 decibels. Let me show you a quick demonstration of that. I'm gonna lock the bike, walk away. So you can hear the alarm going off, but also this has an optional location tracking device. So if you have an iOS phone, they put an AirTag in this so that you can track the location of the bike. Speaking of security, as you probably saw, someone could go off with the bike, and although it would make a lot of noise, you probably want to invest in something like this too, a bike lock that mounts right here on the water boss. And this one here was sent to me by Abus. This is the SportFlex 2504. I'm going to mount it on here and show you how that works. The lock has two holes on it, one on the top and the bottom, making it really easy to mount here on the water bottle boss. And when you remove those bolts, it allows you to even put the water bottle cage over it. And then you would take this cable and loop it around your tire and wrap it around a post and secure it right through the top here. It has a passcode as well, so you'd set that and then you're good to go. There's a link in the description below for this. I think that wraps it up for the basics and specifications of this bike. So let's hop on it and take it out for a ride. Okay, so I am in 0 pedal assist mode. I could definitely ride this bike without the motor. It's a little heavier, but it's not too bad. If I ran out of battery, I could definitely pedal this back to where I need to go. I'm gonna take it up to the first pedal assist. Very smooth transition to the assist. Almost undetectable. You can definitely hear the motor kicking in just a little bit. As you can see, I'm in pedal assist 1, and it is still giving me a little bit of power, and I can get up to 17 miles per hour pretty easily here without a whole lot of work. Let's take it up to pedal assist 2. Now when I've changed to pedal assist 2, it's a very light hint of power difference, but really smooth so far. Let's take it up to the third pedal assist. As you can see, the adjustments for the pedal assist modes are a little further away because I installed the optional throttle here, which actually came with the bike. At this moment in time, it's included. Usually it's, I think, somewhere around $90 extra. I'm really not feeling too big of a difference between pedal assist 2 and 3. Although I am hitting up to about 22 miles per hour. Wing says that this bike will deliver up to 25 miles per hour as the top speed. I do have a throttle that goes up to 20. Well, we'll test that in a moment. I'm gonna go up to pedal assist 4. Don't feel much of a difference between pedal assist 3 and 4 either. And I'm pretty much maxed out. Now I'm in my top shift point and I'm hitting 22. Let's go up to the 5th pedal assist mode. Actually, I'm gonna drop just 1. Okay, well, as you can see, I'm in pedal assist 5, and between 3, 4, 5, there's not much of a difference in power. I don't feel much of a difference in the assist. I mean, this is plenty fine. I'm going over some of these bumps, and as a reminder, this does not have a suspension. It's an aluminum front fork, no suspension, and the back is pretty rigid too. Although the seat is pretty comfortable, I would opt for a suspension seat post. Watch out, squirrely. I do like the fact that this has a horn. Now at a standstill, the pedal assist 5 feels like quite a bit more power. But by the time you're up to speed, you don't feel too much of a difference between the other modes. My body is in a relatively upright position, so I do like the riding position so far, although I still do feel like it is a short distance between the handlebars and my seat post. I like the material of the grips. And I know you can swap out grips if you need to, but this has a flexible paddle-shaped end, and it's a very rubberized material, so I don't feel like my hands are gonna slip off. This Bafang motor is very quiet. I'm really enjoying this ride without having too much motor noise and still enjoying all the crickets chirping and things like that. The throttle is mounted here, and it's actually a thumb throttle that pushes forward instead of one that's down. And so this is a newer design for me. So I'm not gonna pedal. Let's get to the throttle test. The throttle is made out of a slippery plastic, so my finger is sliding off of it. I'm at 20 miles per hour. It does what it says it's gonna do as far as top speed goes. But it's a little weird to use this throttle because it's, like I said, slippery. There's no texture on it to keep my hand on it. Let's try this bike out on a light gravel path. It does have nice grooves on the tread, so I think it'll stick. This is very well packed though. I wouldn't want to take this on anything that is looser gravel. It's all right. This is definitely made to stay in a paved environment. I can handle this a little bit, but I think it's best suited for paved paths. Now that I've taken this Wing Freedom ST out for a ride, there are some things that I want to talk about as far as the things I like and improvements I'd like to see. First, this is a very powerful 550 watt motor, and I think it's sufficient for a bike this lightweight. I don't feel like I have to put a lot of work in to get where I need to go if I'm commuting for a long period of time. Next is the design. This is a modern, sleek, and very cohesive design here, and I really appreciate that. I think it would fit a very wide demographic, whether that is young, old, or male or female. The security factor is one of the bigger selling points for this bike in my opinion, and if I lived in a city, I would really want to consider a bike that has an anti-theft system like this, and that location tracking is a game changer. As far as improvements go, I would like to see a different handlebar design, and that's because I'm pretty tall, I'm 5'11", and most of that length is in my legs. So when I'm riding and sitting on the seat post here, it feels like these handlebars come out a little too close to my knees, and it feels very confined. I wish they had a different handlebar design option to choose from. These tires are 1.75 inches wide, and those are great for efficiency and competitive with other bikes in this category, but I prefer a wider tire for more stability, and I understand that's compromising efficiency, but that's just a personal preference for more versatility. Overall, if this bike was the full price of about $1,800 without any sale going on, there are some other bikes in the category that offer some features that I would really look out for, like a torque sensor or hydraulic brakes. But when this is on sale, it's close to $1,000, and I think it's kind of hard to beat, to be honest, especially with the anti-theft security features. I hope this review of the Wing Freedom ST was helpful. If you are interested in purchasing this bike, please use the link in the description below, and if Wing finds we're helping their customers find the right bike for them, they'll help support the Miss GoElectric channel. Well, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Until next time, drive, fly, ride. Go Electric.